Hey guys, Weeby Newz here. So today I will be doing my top 5 killers from the Danganronpa series. I do want to note in this video that I will only be including characters from the first 2 games, as I have not played V3 yet. Also, to avoid any confusion, I will be going by Monokuma rules. Therefore, I will only be choosing characters who literally killed someone else. An example being in the 5th trial of the 2nd game, I would organize it as if Chiaki was the killer and Nagito was the victim, even though we all know Chiaki was much more innocent in that scenario. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So number 5 on the list is Mikan Tsumiki. The reason this one's ranked a bit lower than the others is honestly because it's for more personal reasons than anything else. I really hated Mikan before this trial, like she was probably my least favorite character in the game, but after this trial I became to sort of be intrigued more by her character, and after I beat the game I played her free time events and just absolutely fell in love with her character. So I feel like her true nature reveal was one of the things that got me really interested in analyzing the characters and realizing that they're all so individual and unique, and they all have these really incredible backstories and reasons for why they do things. And so this trial has always just held a very special place in my heart because of that. But moving on to more legitimate reasons, one of the main reasons is because this is the first time we got to see any of the Super Danganronpa 2 characters in Ultimate Despair mode. And even with the Danganronpa 3 anime, I still felt like this was my favorite representation of what the Ultimate Despairs would actually be like, live and in action. And although I do love the trials where I feel a lot of sympathy for the killer like Owada or Teruteru's, it's really nice to see a killer in Danganronpa that is just pure evil almost. And even though we know she's not like this before the brainwashing thing, it's still really cool to me to see a character kill for the sake of despair rather than killing for just being in the situation that they're in, because it's honestly so interesting to see everybody else's reactions to a person they trusted and believed had good intentions but was honestly just lying to them, even if it was just for a short time. And also, although I felt like the case was fairly easy to figure out who did it, I still felt like I had a lot of fun trying to figure out how exactly she pulled it off. Next on the list is Celestia Ludenberg, and she's on the list for a lot of the same reasons as why Mikan's on the list, because as you guys know, the trials were meant to parallel each other. If you're subscribed to me, you probably know that in my Celestia analysis I mentioned that I have a few complaints regarding this trial. If you'd like to know those complaints, I mentioned them pretty clearly in that video, so feel free to watch that if you're interested. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna mention the things I enjoy about the trial and her as a killer in general. The gist of it is that overall I really do feel like Celeste is a really strong character, one of the strongest out of the Danganronpa 1 cast, and I would have preferred her to have a stronger trial, even though I do understand the reasoning as to why they made it the way they did. But as for the things I did like about this case, firstly, similarly to Mikan's, it was kind of fun to see a villain whose intentions were a bit more selfish or weren't quite as immediately redeemable as some of the other characters, because to me it's funner to break down the reasons as to why she would kill someone and why it's important to her to have something as selfishly sounding as money, rather than some of the other characters whose intentions and reasonings behind it were a bit more obvious. And similarly to the Mikan case, I felt like it was really easy to find out that Celeste did this, but I had a ton of fun trying to figure out how exactly she pulled it off. It was neat to me to see a character who really attempted to mastermind this whole huge elaborate murder, and seeing the meticulous details she put into it as well. Next up on the list is Gundam Tanaka, and he's on this list for entirely different reasons as to why Celeste or Mikan is on this list. And it's because, as some of you guys probably know, his intentions were overall a lot better than most killers. The main reason for him being on this list is because I do personally believe that he sacrificed himself for the sake of the group. And for me, going through the trial and wondering why such a seemingly sweet character would kill someone, and being so confused by it, and then finally learning that him and Nekomaru had come to this decision together in order to save the rest of the students, even if it meant their own sacrifice, really meant a lot to me and was such a cool reveal, and so just different and unique from a lot of the other ones. I really liked Gundam as a killer as well because it felt like it gave him and his character a sort of climax moment, and that made him a little bit easier to analyze for me. I just felt like this trial and him being a killer in general for this surface, and finding out his reasons for this was a really good way to find out who he truly was as a person, and I really appreciate this about this trial and about him being a killer. Next on the list is Peko Pekoyama, and I loved everything about this case, especially her reveal as the killer. Similarly to Gundam, I loved how her motive was a bit less selfish, and it was originally to help Kuzuryu, and I absolutely loved how she twisted it in the trial with the whole tool argument, and the fact that Monokuma actually played along with this for a little bit. Seeing everyone's reaction to that was just absolutely insane to me. Firstly with the reveal of her being Sparkling Justice, and then with the reveal of the tool argument. I felt like the mystery around why she did this was just so interesting and so fun to watch. I also really loved how dedicated she was to the Sparkling Justice persona, and on second thought, I think she could have actually taken some inspiration from Kamaida in the first trial for this, since, as I mentioned before, she was trying to originally use that tool argument in order to save Kuzuryu from this killing game. And in the first trial, we sort of see everybody freak out when Kamaida starts talking about his hope speeches and all of that. And when I was watching this trial, it almost seemed like she mimicked it in a way by acting like she was killing for a good cause and that she wouldn't stop and things of that nature. So I think she might have actually done this on purpose in order to speed up the vote so that the others would quickly convict her as the killer, even if a couple of them felt uneasy about it, which we see Sonya was the main one who noticed that she probably wasn't actually Sparkling Justice. And number one on this list is of course Junko Enoshima herself. And like I said, I am going by Monokuma rules, and I actually had to double check this one just to be safe. And she literally was the one who killed Makuro and set it up to look as if Nagi or Kirigiri did it. Honestly, when I first got into Danganronpa, I was really just indifferent towards Junko's character, but after starting my channel and doing a couple of analysis videos on her, and of course reading Danganronpa 0, I've just completely fallen in love with her. I think she's an absolutely incredible villain, and seeing her as the killer and trying to set up this case was really incredible to me. There was so much mystery around it to me, and even though I was spoiled that Junko was the mastermind before I played the first game, there was still so many things to unravel about this case and so many exciting moments that I really just felt like I had to make her number one on this list. And since being the mastermind, she was able to manipulate the case and sort of cheat and frame Nagi or Kirigiri depending on the ending. I felt like it made the case all the more exciting and fun to play through. This whole situation is also the first time that we see Junko's plans and predictions sort of not going her way, and seeing how she reacts and sort of combats this as well was really cool to me too. But anyways, this will conclude the list. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like Danganronpa, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I try to post weekly. I do all sorts of videos like this along with character analysis videos and things of that nature, so feel free to check those out if they sound appealing to you. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to Sloan, please subscribe to her since she was kind enough to feature me on her channel, and she does a lot of really cool top list and anime reviews. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you real soon.